They call them the Rolling Thunder. High Octane. Full Throttle. The legendary Saturday Night Heroes. Generations of skill and decades of rivalry has given rise to these champions. Born into the Rolling Thunder, racing is in their blood. 12 times a year, these rock stars are summoned to test their wits and their guts in heavy metal, high octane action. Rockstars of the dirt oval, these drivers put their life on the line for the next victory. There can be no friends on the dirt.
Raceway die element is 'n elimination race vir ons.
With the start of an engine, blood, sweat, and tears become reality, and history is written. Drivers, cars, racing. This is Dirt Track Oval. This is Heavy Metal Thunder. This is Saturday Night Heroes. Chaps, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Night Heroes. Today we are sitting here with Pieta Victor, one of the race car drivers, and he's agreed to come share his story, a little bit about who he is. Pieta, you're in the hot seat. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Pieta Victor. I'm racing in the American Saloon class at the moment, V8s. I've been racing since August 2000, so in August this year it will be 20 years racing. I used to race in multiple classes, hot rods and 2.1s, but I'm actually focusing just on the V8s at the moment.
And that's quite the V8 is quite an upper class race class, if you want to say. Those are the faster cars, right?
Yeah, it's actually the late models is actually the fastest class at the moment, but there's not a lot of the clubs have them, so it's more Tigerberg and some of them in Bloemfontein, so not all of the clubs have the late model. So the fast cars actually the hot rods and the V8s, but even the 2.1 class they actually getting just as fast.
Okay, cool. But I mean, it must be exhilarating driving a V8. I mean, that's basically the peak. Everybody wants to do that.
It's for me. I like the V8s the most of all the classes. I've raced like I said, the hot rods and the 2.1. So for me, if I had to stick to one, that's the one I'd stick to with the V8s.
And now you said you've driven all the other classes. Were those just to get into racing, to kind of rear you up to the bigger boys?
It's basically all of them is like very competitive. So to the rear-wheel drive 4 cylinders, it's a class on its own to get used to. So the V8s have got more power. So to drive the V8 fast around the track, if you've got a lot of power, you have to get used to it. But I wouldn't say it all came up to just driving the V8. So I'll drive any class, but I'll stick with the V8. But even the 2.1s, it's a very good class, and the hot rod is a nice class to race in.
And now, driving these V8s, as you said, I mean, it's a lot of power in these things. You need a fair amount of skill. I mean, you can't just, let's say I wanted to start racing stock cars now, and it doesn't matter, I've got a bit of money. I just want to buy one of these V8s and drive it. I mean, that's generally not recommended, right?
It is recommended to actually start with something that's a little bit easier. But today with they set up the cars very good, so you will be able to get it around the track, but you'll have to have some seat time, like they say, to get it.
Well, to be competitive.
To be competitive, yeah. You have to get some seat time. You can have a good car and everything will seem okay, but you'll have to race it a couple of seasons to do well.
Now, talking about being competitive, you are fairly competitive, right? You've got a couple of what is championships under your belt?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them, but like say the last 5 years, 4 years, I've not been too competitive at the moment. I'm just like easing into it. But I'll say maybe from next year again, I'm going to be like all out racing again because I've said like slacking a little bit.
Now, this competitive streak, does that come specifically from you, or has your parents or your father, mother even, have they grown up into racing and brought you up into it?
Yeah, it's like actually a big family thing. We like grew up with it racing and started with motocross, and then we like did nothing for a couple of years, and then I just remember my father one night asking me would I race a car if he built one. I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then from there it was like from 2000s like non-stop.
So you've done motocross racing
Yeah,
as
motocross
well?
as well, yeah.
Jeez, that's almost very scary for me. You could fall off that thing and break bones.
Yeah.
And how do you find racing now stock cars and the V8s compared to that sort of racing?
The motocross is actually something that you have to grow up with it as well. You can't, I don't think it's even possible to say maybe be like 20, 25 years old and like think, yeah, I'm going to start motocross now. You're never going to catch up to the guys that were racing since they were like 5 or 6, 7 years old. So for the cars, I think it's easier to get into it at a later stage, but not with the bikes.
Okay. Now, I mean, of course, it does help if your family's into racing and they can teach you the ropes, they can teach you strategy and how to manage everything. It's not just about getting in, putting your foot down and going around a circle. I mean, there's technique.
Yeah. I say if your family is into it, and like everybody helps. So if you've got good friends in the racing and everybody, they teach you a little bit that they know. And if you put everything together, later it works out because everybody knows something the other guy doesn't know. So it helps if they put the input into it, and everybody helps you.
I heard, I mean, we were kind of speaking off camera a little bit earlier, but is it correct that your family started Victory Raceway?
Yeah. It was actually my father and my brother-in-law's father. They when they heard that the showgrounds in PE was, I don't know what happened there, but we didn't. I think they sold the grounds. Then my brother-in-law's father, he came with a plan as well. He could get the grounds of the old Telkom Sports Center, and then from there it all started and planning and
I mean it's huge and it's super popular today, I believe.
Yes, it's a very nice track. The features around the track, everything. It's a nice venue to have a racetrack at, and
it's a very family-orientated venue.
Yes.
I mean, I've been to a few stock car races and a few races around the country, and when I come here to Victory, it's one of those places where I think, actually, I don't mind bringing the kids and the wife here. This is really nice.
Yeah, like I said, it's got nice facilities as well, and like I told my sister today, I was at George track the weekend, and it's like really the same. It's nice. Facilities, and there's shade and trees and stands and toilets. Everything it was very nice at George as well. So I like it if it's you don't want to go there and it's just okay for the drivers, but the spectators or the family, they're hot and there's no shade and stuff like that.
Okay. And now your family started kind of Victory Raceway, and it's on Victoria Road.
Yes.
What was the significance there?
I can't tell you. I'm not sure, but that's just one of those coincidences. Yes.
Victory Raceway was actually voted the most popular track in South Africa.
There's the peanut gallery again, chaps. Okay, so that's quite interesting. The most popular track in South Africa, and it's just getting better and better. I mean, I've been in PE for about 5 years now, and since I've been here, it's just every year it gets better and better. And do you guys still manage the track or own the track? How does that work?
Yeah, my father used to run it as a promoter, and since he passed away in 2016, my mother actually took over the role of promoter. But we still have a committee as well that everybody helps, everybody does their bit, and so we try to organize everything for the events and the prize givings, and it's a couple of guys together. Still everybody's got their input, and some of the drivers, everybody where they can help with sponsorship or fixing something at the track or electrical, anything.
Any help is welcome.
Anything where help is welcome, yeah.
Oh no! Look, it's an awesome story to hear that these tracks have grown over the years and they continue to grow year after year and get more popular.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Now, this is your car behind you, right?
Yes.
This is the V8.
Yes.
Now, I always see this V8 in the front row and at all these wins.
Yeah.
What is the story here?
It's actually a very old car. My father and I built it in 2007, so it's actually quite old. But it's been actually butchered since from 2007 to now. I can't even begin to all the brackets that's been cut off and other things we tried with it and to get it where it's now. And I haven't raced in Cape Town this year, but we're planning on going there at the end of the month just to see where we are now, because it's running well here, but to see where you are, you have to go against the top guys and see where do you stand with the car. Is everything, can you get more out of it? Can you get more out of the engine? Can you get more out of the suspension? You have to measure up to the best guys. Yeah.
Are you feeling confident to travel around the country and race with the other classes, or not with the other classes, but with the other drivers?
Yes, there's actually, the rules has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. That actually made the older cars a little bit obsolete. So we're trying to get the most out of it the way it is without going to the newer suspension. But if it's not possible, we'll have to end up there. But we're trying to keep it more practical and economical. So I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to do it with this car. So if I can't do it in the next year or so, then I'll have to upgrade.
Oh, jeez. I take it it's not cheap. I mean, it's a lot of money a lot of money, sweat and tears and blood you've got to put into these cars to maintain them and build them.
Yes.
And this motor, have you had many problems with the motor in here, or the car? When you've modified things, you're modifying it because you want to modify it, or are you fixing it because things break?
Now, actually, the car and the motors it's actually hassle-free at the moment. The last couple of years, so there is maintenance on the motor, like you service it regularly to keep the oil fresh and everything. But it actually needs the engine needs to be taken out and refreshed, like they say, new bearings and rings, just to go another 2 years, 3 years. So you don't want to ride it till everything falls apart.
Yeah, well, until you're circling the track and it throws a rod or something, and that's definitely your race, and maybe even the next 2-3 races.
Yeah. You try to get the most out of the motor, but it must at least last a couple of races. You can't work on it every single race, and it's not worth it. But mostly it's the jobs keeping you busy with the cars, like just the setup and little bumps and dings you get along the way and stuff like that.
And now, do you have to not modify your car, but change the setup when you travel from track to track because of the surface or the direction? Or
you try to adapt to the track. So you have to do the first heat. So from there, normally till the last race, you're adjusting little things like cross weight and the brakes and tire pressure, stuff like that. So you have to adapt the whole time to the tracks. You can't say afterwards, but the track was dry or the track was wet. At the end of the day, everybody started on the same track and everybody raced till the finish on the same track.
It's quite interesting. I mean, I've seen a couple of different spheres of racing, and like everybody has the same, obviously, idea to be competitive is where they have to tune their car for the track on the day, not just from let's say an overall suspension point of view and then a motor point of view. So a fair amount of work especially even when things aren't breaking. How is your season going so far? I think there's been one race in the 2020 season so far.
Yeah, there's only one race.
How did that go?
Yeah, it went very well. Everything went spot on. There's no problems with the car.
And where did you place? Were you first?
Yeah, I won the first race of the season.
And then what are you hoping for in the next couple of races? The next race is in 5 days' time, I think?
Yeah, the next race, I have tried something else with the brakes at the back, and I've just made small adjustment on the front suspension. So I'll just take it from there, race for race.
And then what are you hoping for in the rest of the season? Are you going for possibly the club championship, nationals, to get SA number 1 again? How does that?
Yeah, I'd like to finish the year good with the club championships, because last year I was working on my car, say, till maybe half season, and so I didn't get a full run at the championship. So I'd like to do it this year and to get a good place. And the nationals, I'm not quite sure, because I've actually got a wedding on that day, so I'm not sure if I'm even going to be there.
Bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've been asking this question to all of the drivers, a 3-part question. I'll just ask it all at once here. But from your perspective, what is going through your mind when you are in the pit area, you're pulling on your gloves, you're putting on your helmet, you're starting the car? What is going through your mind then? And then also the second part is when you are now on the racetrack and you're doing your sighting laps, everybody's bunching up and you're getting close to that last corner, close to the green light. Of course, what's going on then? And then generally you're always in front. So when you see the white flag last lap, what are you trying to achieve then?
I think when I'm in the pit still before the first race, I'm actually very relaxed, because actually somebody spoke to one of my friends, Vince, and he says like, yeah, he always sits in his car on the grid waiting for the race to start, and like he sees me, I'm still walking there and watching the other class in front of me, and he's like already strapped in, and he like sees there's one lap, and I just run and jump in like casually and just come past him to start racing. And then during the race, it's actually, I can't even say what's going through your head, because I don't think you're actually thinking about anything. It's just like that, and everything is over. So you have to actually, afterwards, I normally ask my wife like, what happened? What happened to this guy? And when I was there, where was he? Did he bump me, or did I slide? Or so she like recaps me afterwards, and I like to. If say I get to the front and I'll ask her when I came to first place, did I get out of the guy second, or was he like actually catching up to me?
So you're really in a zone when you're on that track.
Yes.
And everything else is kind of
it just goes so quick, you don't even have time to.
And I must say, look, watching the V8s race around, they're so fast. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or I don't know how many 8 laps you do, and it's done. Yeah. Just as quick as that. And then, let's say, let's approach it this way. When, let's say, you're in second place now, and you see the white flag come out, what would you, what's going through your mind then?
When I'm in second place, my father always used to say, if you're in second and you're like chasing somebody down, and the race can be like 50 laps, and you won't even know about it. You like just off, because if the race is over and you came second, you're like, yes, if I had like maybe 1 or 2 more laps, I could have catch the guy, you say. So, and when you're in front, it's like the opposite of that. If somebody's like on you, and there's like 1 lap left or so, you just like, yes, I have to get it done. That kan klaar kom, yeah. And but when I'm second normally, and I'm close to the guy in front, sometimes what happens is the guy in front tries to relax that last lap, and then lots of times you able to pass him in that last lap, even maybe the last turn, because he's like, okay, he doesn't want to overcook it in the last turn, so he's like relaxes, or he just doesn't put his foot as hard as he used to on the brake, and he like goes into an understeer, and you get your chance.
And then you just come straight through.
Yeah.
And then it's over. Yeah. I've actually, one of the other drivers told me that's happened to them before, where they were in first place, exactly like you said, and they slacked off a bit, and they ended up going second. You're just too cautious, actually, and then you like mess it up. Yeah. And even though you are fairly cool and calm and very much in the zone, do you still get a good adrenaline rush from the racing? Yeah, it like never stops, because you notice it when you're not racing, because like sometimes when you like I said when I was in George the weekend, you're not racing, like, yeah, it's cold out here, and you see everybody walking that's racing, and it's got short sleeves, and like you think, yeah, when you're racing, well, you just get out and you take off, so you've got like a short sleeve on,
You don't even notice it's like cold outside, but it's like just how you're in the thing at the moment, yeah.
Yes, it must be super exciting. I think what we actually need to do at some stage is we need to get a camera in your car. Well, of course, with your permission, and get some inside, in-field footage just to see from your perspective what it's like and how fast things happen.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be something. Now, I believe you've got a nickname, right? Which is, or you're known as the Joker.
Yes.
What is the story there?
I'm not actually sure. So somebody once asked me. I used to have a 2.1 Corsa as well, and those guys just asked me where's the Joker, and it's like the car actually had the name. I don't know why, and I don't know if it's maybe because I try to like be funny all the time, especially at a race, because then they can't get a straight answer. They don't know if you're telling the truth or anything like that.
And it's just stuck.
Since then,
yeah. now you are the Joker. Yeah. Where to from here? Are there any challenges for this current season that you want to issue to the other drivers in your class or anybody?
Like the V8s, there's a lot of upcoming young drivers that's got good cars now at the moment. So it's going to get very interesting towards like the mid-season, end of the season, because they've got nice cars, and just getting used to them. The next, say, 2-3 races, they're going to start hassling the older guys.
And are you kind of going to slacken back a bit, let's say mid-season, just to try and get these guys a little bit ahead, give them a bit of confidence, and then when you can see, enough is enough, then you just take your spot back? Yeah. Is that the plan?
That is actually a plan, but what I've noticed, if you let somebody maybe get close to you, let them win a race or two, the thing is, the next race they think they can win again, and then you have to battle with them.
I wish all of you well, especially the upcoming drivers. They've got a massive mountain to climb to beat you, or even just to get probably close to your racing skill. Any other stories? I mean, we just chatted, like I say, very quickly before we started recording. Any other stories or interesting stuff that you want to share with us about your racing, about your dad's racing? What did he used to race?
Yeah, he also used to race mainly V8s, and him and my uncle Piet Victor, they used to race everywhere as well with the V8s, and they can. Everywhere we came, it's stock cars, and they used to tell stories about stuff that happened along the way, and it's like taking the race car's engine out and putting it in the truck to tow further because the truck broke down. So it's like never-ending stories with him, and like you don't notice it while you're doing it, but after like a couple of years gone by, you like see you're actually all the building up stories, like stuff that happened, and the wheel came off and the trailer went there, and so you actually notice it later that you're also like busy building onto that stories with all the stuff that happens to you along the way.
Yes, I really think we should, at some stage along the line, we should bring up some old footage, old racing footage, you know what I mean? Maybe that'll spark your childhood memories, and you can share some really nice stories, of course, if you want to, and comfortable with it. Okay, look, if that is all, is there anything else you want to add, though? I mean, this is about as far as my knowledge goes.
Yeah, I'd just like to say mainly my sponsors. My sponsors is Custom City, Ferrobrake, PE Air Brakes, Q1, and that's about it, yeah.
Yes, something. Maybe this is the wrong place, but the Ferrobrake cars, those are the Christmas tree cars, right?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? Are we racing, or is this a showground?
I don't know what's happening with that. Yeah.
I must say, it looks, as a spectator, it actually looks quite impressive. I suppose if you can't be the fastest, you've got to look the best.
Yeah, I know. There used to be those things that people that you put on your car's valve as well, and and my father hated that. He's like, he doesn't like this making chokes of the cars, to all those lights and. Yes,
and these guys have it's just lights, but it actually looks impressive when all three of them come around.
For the spectators, maybe the younger, the kids, they maybe they like it.
Yeah, that's actually brilliant. Well, Peter, thank you very much for your time and giving of the day. It's taken us, a good half of the day to set up in your workshop. really, thank you very much. Hopefully we can chat to you trackside at some stage, not interfering with your racing, but we'll just catch up with you down the line again. So thanks. Last thing, this is just for fun, really. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. The first answer that pops into your head, just give me that answer, and literally just for fun. So, who's the best driver?
In what aspect now?
Anyway, who's the best driver?
Best driver, I'd say. Who's the best driver?
It doesn't have to be correct. Come on, you're the best driver.
No, I'm not the
Always
best.
yourself.
I think the best would be
It doesn't
Sebastian
actually-
Loeb.
There we go. Okay. Oh, I wasn't actually expecting that. I was thinking, geez, which Stockcar driver are you going to name now? Okay. Yeah. He races World Rally Championship.
Yes.
Sebastian. Okay. Awesome. Toyota or Ford?
Say Toyota, but not Ford.
Definitely not Ford.
Definitely not Ford.
Or Chev, actually, we should say, is probably the better option. Yeah. And then I'm going to spin this one a little bit. No, we'll keep it simple. Rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive? I think it's easy.
Rear-wheel drive, definitely.
It's always. From the word go, rear-wheel drive, definitely. Peter, thank you very much. And that's it for Saturday Night Heroes for this episode.
Thank you very much.
We'll
Thanks to
chat
you
to
guys.
again soon. Cheers.